kamfa nga mira mbika danda nga millo ya boy fitina wadami mbika jef extension e kolof bare jeleta wande mi te ko fot ako bosa ande to fot dami to Usman boyan to fot dami ako ante compenser le extension lo kono nga fa panalo to nunko mam balang ya din ko to ke balale o mu talati ay fendi na jel ba problem ni mastono akata felen bulo kono jak ate bosa nga noma atela waf ko so mastono bulo kono as a director that time mastono bulo kono hani bi mastono apoto felen bulo kono dina besaje aka problem to Usman bojan problem min fo e toletan 57 number ay min fo afele dina be bela kontanum o to mbani ni ko say wok ploto say kontam dem te jukara sina atandina moli mo be ja se jaharan ben sila ngaji ko sila to nya sila ko sita fenele mi yalla ko to nya ba sabala son ko to nya sabala banko kan sila ko to non tele ko moti bi katandi banko molla loptano ya wafule bunda ko tande lo fana wafe ka fo karambu civex karambu lom banke mon sa karambu private school lom mfandi ma ba sokol na kabila ki wawal tam jete civex ya mira civex is almost 130 meters by 100 meters by 80 by 90 meters mo konkilina ya di wala kakala jubokon mo banko na fa fualba karot sabin kata karangaji fualba karanje fangama da karanje sai to fualba ta mun to sila ya tambu ya di fankamar itolla waf marketa ikiya ba wa alkedi ya wafule bale da ranka ka fa alkedi ya wafule ko de ko mutu buli kadila
Allah an nasalaje so wala minto ko lafta ka diamu adama barole mimum mansatin banko ka pour fa lon na ban fa malo min bakering bante baba ya lafta adam baro ya lon muna bakering right now wala inti ko ntolla salaje mbasirin da minto fa malo kabirin tol dinding ntol kata nyo do ko laje nga tubabu nyol do kuje nga sunyol do kuje so bi modol ko kanana ko ilafta ka barako ntol baraka ntol lo ko dalla akulata bakale ani bin tol badamen bi mbade tarin nasul konole mfali atunne je ina kammo ko pour sinin sama nga dimo min fana wulu koma pour fana sna ne niyo jiyo lato bari kontrol tan niyo jila je kontrol futale atara mama kan futale so lefta minna itoba bunyaw lo khanje ntol bade tarin suwo kono abala fa warta bakale so nteba min fur aram baroe ndara carte ke so nyaaje bi ngadi aram baro lon ko ngadi na kam ko pour ngam fon soto ngoni aram baro nata nan tolo ban fon soto la par han bin tolo man fon soto de an bin tolo ba de terrain anu bin de batamin aram baro ma sakundai billahi wallahi tallahi momo bata ana ana minister dolta wala siri la bungol kono ban te bata aram baro ni ngola sakai ngo because of pour ngam fon soto ban ko kan par han santa man fon soto de an santa ba de terrain so ntabe min fala adam baro kabir adam baro ntabula ta normal atara mitno dawda adam baro entalon adam baro billahi wallahi niko adam baro ko baba ya ba fala ngalon ay lo na festo fe nganyolo ay ntolon ngalo katam adam baro banin bayna fala ko ay wuli kula ba kering ay wuli janu setano ko na banko kan anu janu kanana ma fa mata ku de tara de banya ye kelo wulte en banko kan billahi wallahi ta ba kelen ko da ko let so ntaba dan na min ka aka ala kamma ay wuli ala ayta ala physical plan ayta je kiskisi baka bank
Sukuta is just one among towns in
As Gambians prepare to head to the polls next year, the race to the State House has been everything but short of a political candidate. And today I am joined by the Secretary General and a party leader of the People's Progressive Party, Honorable Papanjai, who will be talking to the Fatu Network on how his party is preparing for the upcoming elections next year. Welcome to the Fatu Network, Mr. Njai.
Thank you very much, and it's a pleasure to be on your network.
So by now, all the presidential candidates in the Gambia are known by everyone. So I am going to skip the part where we have to go back to history and the introductions and everything to focus on the issues and the challenges that Gambians are faced with, and how, of course, your government will confront these issues. Right now, Gambian people seem to be losing confidence in the government. I mean, if you get voted, what are the first things that you will do to raise the confidence of the Gambian people?
Thank you very much. I think this is the first interview I've had, and people did not take me back to the history. So this is very good, and I must congratulate you. And we are moving forward, and that's hope. The biggest problem we have in Gambia is indiscipline. No matter how good a leader we have, no matter how much we advocate for change, no matter how much money comes into the country, if we are not disciplined as a nation, we're failing. So the PPP government will definitely look at how do we bring that discipline back. Discipline in the form of the civil service, discipline in the security sector, in the military, discipline in individual self-discipline. What it takes for you to go to work on time, do your job on time, and deliver on time. If we do not tackle that, no matter the type of president we have, will fail. So that is just a general point that I want to make sure that everybody understands. We have to be disciplined as a nation. And all the nations that are developed, they invested a lot in discipline. It's very unfortunate wherever you turn it out as indiscipline. And discipline starts from ourselves, and discipline goes all the way to the public officials, even the traffic officer does pay $3,000 a month, and he takes $1,500 for rice, a bag of rice, and then he has $1,500 remaining, and then you expect that person to go and stand under the traffic from 8 o'clock up to 6 o'clock or sometimes up to the evening, and you do not expect that person to be corrupt. So that all those facets are indiscipline that we need to solve. But coming back to the general direction of the country, I think we, the PPP, and people know us that we're the party that brought in the Tesito. If a nation cannot produce enough food to feed itself, we cannot move forward. Hunger is a crime. Poverty is a crime. So we as a government, or as the PPP government, we will invest heavily in agriculture. And it's not just bringing tractors. No, it's actually tied our developmental goal. If we say that our vision for Gambia now is to reduce the importation of rice, I'm just giving an example, from 50% importation of rice to 20%, to bring it down to 20% of rice importation. What do? We go back and look at all the other factors that affect it. One, do we have enough students, enough graduates from high school that are going back into farming? What are the structures that we have in place? Like, do we protect them indirectly so that the person importing rice will be charged more, so that the guy producing rice local would produce, so that he is able to have a market? So agriculture production is very key. And not only that, the fishery sector, we have to look at it again. So those competitive advantages that we have, as the rice, the agricultural production, the fisheries production, the tourism, and then the youth, how do we empower them? And empowerment is just not just sitting down and talking, I'm going to empower the young people and the women. No, we have to come up with a strategy, a vision. So that is one area. The other area that I think we will have to look at again is regionalize Gambia again. What I mean by that, all the technicians, all the experts will have to sit on the round table and say, okay, Gambia, we have 7 regions. We know that cereal production and granule production does well in North Bank. How do we do that? How do we promote so that the students in North Bank, how do we encourage them for them to go and study and come back and reinvest in that region. We look at CRR. I mean, everybody eat rice at the houses every day. How do we promote rice production in CRR? It's not just the issue of, like I said, bringing tractors and getting government invest in Jahal Pacha, for example, and then at the end of the day, we move forward. No. We have to look at, one, how do you increase the hectarage? That's the amount of rice we grow. Secondly, how do we increase the efficiency of per hectare of rice grown in Gambia? And for those who are into agriculture, is the yield. How do we increase the yield? And how do you transform that rice from paddy rice to finished product? How many people do we need, young people, that will target from maybe CRR, that we will send for training, not in agronomy, in food production, in farm mechanization? I hear that recently the government has brought in some farm machinery. That's not the solution. The solution is training Gambians how to repair those farm machineries, training Gambians to produce our own machineries, so that if there's a breakdown in the tractor, there's a Gambian company or a group of young people that can repair that tractor. I remember in about 10, 15 years ago, when I was with about 20 years ago, when I was with the Minister of Agriculture, you would go to a project site, and then you see a tractor that's not working. And then you ask them, say, that's a problem with the engine. That tractor can be there for almost 6 months or 1 year. It's a mismatch. So we have to go back to the simple things and look at the things that we're good at.
And back to those simple things, of course, includes the issue of discipline, which is something that is affecting many sectors here in the Gambia. You go to offices and then you realize that most of the time, everybody does what they want, nobody cares. But what is the major issue to you, in your own perspective, that you think is eroding the common good of the Gambian people?
I think we have to lead by example. The leading by example starts from the household. The family head has to lead by example. The Yai Compin within that Goh has to lead by example. The youth leader within that community has to lead by example. The imam of that constituency or that region has to lead by example. The father of that neighborhood has to lead by example. It goes up. The civil service has to lead by example, because those are the people that implement the policies of the government. I'll give you an example. I was at the stadium when they had this inter-school sports competition, and I sat in my car. Unfortunately, the teacher was supposed to give the kids some token, was it food voucher or certificates, but the kids were all over him. The discipline starts from there. Why can't we force our teachers to make sure those kids stand in line instead of jumping? The other problem I've noticed is that the people that make the economy, the people that make us become who we are today, those are the least paid people, or those are the least appreciated people. Who are the teachers? In other countries, teachers are paid more than some government officials. How do you bring back those teachers and make sure that they're already hardworking? How do you encourage them so that they perform better? I had a discussion with some students from the Gambia College. And you know what she told me? She said, Papa, the only people that go to Gambia College are those people who do not have any chance in life. Those people who their grades are very poor and they've looked around and they don't have a choice. The only choice they have now is Gambia College. And that is the cradle of a society. We have to improve that sector. Teachers, health workers, people who directly work with people that affect changes. So those are the areas that we have to look at. I mean, it's difficult to just say that, okay, I'm going to empower women. How are you going to empower women? I'm going to create employment. No. We have to have a vision. And that vision is a collective effort. My vision, if we get into the government, is we have to go back. We'll go back to the sectors that we're good at, and then we look at the civil service reform, not reform by mouth, but reform by making sure that one, those people are paid properly. 2, those people are efficient. 3, we sort of, how do you call it, that we monitor and evaluate them. We have to have systems whereby people are held accountable. And then the Maslow syndrome, I mean, it's a problem also. You will see somebody who breaks the law, and then because the father is related to you or you're from the same party, you do the Maslow syndrome, and that kills it.
You talk about improving certain sectors of the economy, but in order for that to happen, you need to have a stable economy itself. We know that Gambia is one of the poorest nations in West Africa. It has an economy which is a tax-based economy. You ask the littlest kids in the Gambia, and then they will tell you. And right now, the tourism sector is not doing well due to the coronavirus pandemic. We all see how the health sector is. What are you bringing to the table to make sure that you reverse these challenges? Because one thing about Gambian politicians, everybody say, oh, they all repeat the issues that we are facing, and then the Gambian people say, we know. You keep telling us there's a problem with the health sector. We know. You keep telling us there's a problem in the education sector. We know. So what are you bringing to make sure that those challenges are reversed?
Like I said in the start, that we need a government that will invest more in discipline, because discipline cuts across everything. We have technology that can help us collect more taxes. But the problem is not collection alone. The problem is enforcing and making people understand that this is a right. They must pay their taxes. You look at the system, how people pay taxes here. You go to the customs and you want to clear your vehicle. You will talk to a customs officer. He will say, okay, I will give you this this amount, but then I'll declare a different amount. The problem is, the guy who is saying that he's corrupt. The civil servant or the private sector guy who's encouraging that is also corrupt. So now we look at a system whereby we bring the tax basis down, but increase the base. Increase base is what that? Every single Gambian must pay tax. And how do we do that? We have to start to make sure that every single Gambian must have a unique number. That's the first thing we're going to do. Not the tin. The tin maybe is there, but is it connected to your social security payment? Is it connected to the taxes that you pay? Is it connected to the duty that you pay at the market? If you're a lady that sells food stuff in the market, is it connected to your insurance number? Is it connected to your driver's license? Is it connected to a voter's card? And those are technologies that are not difficult. But we must have the will of the Gambians, the will of the civil service, the will of the executive to implement it. That is a start. We have to invest in that. So that for me is the competitive advantages. That's the food, the production, things like that. Then we have to jump and go into technology. And in order to do that, we also look at the internet accessibility. How accessible is the internet connection? And those things people don't see is directly related to the food basket, but eventually it will catch up, because we should be able to get more people to pay taxes, and we also have to make sure that we educate Gambians that you must pay taxes. You have to educate them that if you do not pay taxes and you're caught, you're penalized. You look at I like to give examples to other countries in the West. If you're stopped by a traffic police officer, the first thing they ask you is your driver's license or your ID card. And they will swap it. Once they swap it, they will know that whether the car belongs to you or not. Second, they'll find out whether you have a previous traffic offense, whether you're a criminal, whether you've evaded your taxes. There you go. If we start to implement those things, people keep saying that Gambians we are not at that level. We really have to invest more. People are not very educated. No. Gambians are smart. We have to tighten our belts and start with things that will make accountability, transparency easy for us.
How does all this transform into the life of the average Gambian?
If everybody is paying their taxes, or those people that cannot pay taxes, but they're in the system, will have more money to spend. If you have a system whereby every single butu that the government spends is transparent, is somewhere where you can go and hold the government accountable. If you have that system, you will make sure that when there's a tender for contracts, the process is transparent. Everybody sees it. I don't have to go under the table and give somebody the money and say, listen, give me this contract. Because most likely, if I give you that contract, I will owe you. And when I owe you, I will not. If I don't perform, you cannot come back to my papa. You have not performed because I've already given you money. So those things are important. The fundamental issue here is really about educating, re-educating, civic education, and with that, everything else will fall in place, and holding people accountable.
So from what I get from this discussion is that corruption has become an order of the day in the Gambia. It's interesting because you are representing a party, the People's Progressive Party.
Right.
And this is a party that has also been accused of corruption in the past. So how do you intend to change that narrative?
The PPP was not corrupt, but individuals within the system might be corrupt. And we have to increase, as we evolve as a society, we have to increase on how do you control those corruption. Now we have the technology to make sure that corruption is not eliminated, but at least reduced. But also, what I felt that the PPP government should have invested a little bit more on is when you are caught, you should be taken to the courts, and the court, if they find you that you are guilty, you should be imprisoned or fined heavily. That, to me, was happening, but we should have increased it a little bit more. But if you look at the 30 years rule of PPP, and we look at our track record in terms of human rights record, in terms of the number of development we brought into the country, look at how everybody was saying that we had one of the best civil service in the whole of Africa. You look at our telecommunication system. You look at that. You look at Gambia was a re-export trade. What I mean by that was we're importing so much so that we had to re-export it again. Gambia, we were actually exporting high-value ground products. Like we will process the nuts, and the quality is so good that we started exporting it again. Gambia, then it was easy to survive on a salary of $1,500, $2,000. So those things were there.
Times have changed.
Times have changed, and we have to evolve with those times. And that's why we have the digital technology that we have to invest in. Okay, indirectly people are saying that, directly people are saying that it will not affect our daily lives. It will. Then we have these other sectors that we have. We have to go back and look at the civil service. It should be, the civil service should not be the biggest employer, no. It should be the biggest employment creation outside. What I mean by that is that they should provide environment, they should create environment so that we'll have young people eager to go into the fishery sector. Or we should have a structure whereby the tourism sector is structured in such a way that with the good policies, good incentives, so that investors will invest into tourism sector. But also, we have to protect our Gambians. We have to protect our local people who are investing in those sectors. The reason I'm saying is this is that recently we've heard of these Chinese fish mills factories polluting our environment and with all these bad practices. They're not the only people that are the problem. The problem started from when the project was appraised. Any single project that comes into the country, you have a team of people that sit on that project document and look at environmental impact assessment. They'll look at the number of employment they're going to create. They'll look at the benefit that project brings into the country. They'll look at what value does that project have into that country. They'll look at if they're exporting outside, how much foreign currency is generated, and how much of that foreign currency should stay in the Gambia. So to me, the Chinese are polluting the waters, yes, but how did they get there? Who gave them those environment impact assessment license to say that they are able to fish and then and put their waste onto River Gambia? What are the conditions of clause, the conditions of penalizing them? So it's a complete group of people or ministers responsible to make sure that Chinese factory is operating professionally. We all want fish mills in the Gambia. when I was doing my mayoral campaign, I spoke about this technology, which I learned when I traveled, that the ladies that are in the market, when they got that fish, the leftovers, we could have had a technology, a system whereby we will employ young people to collect the waste, collect it, then take it somewhere, dry it, and then pulp it into fish meal, or pulp it into a fish meal and export it. But we need people to take their jobs seriously. We need to hold people accountable.
How do you think government needs to handle this issue of these fish meal factories? Remember, every time you talk about these kind of issues, they say, okay, because there is ties between Gambia and China, and then they're responsible for giving a lot of money, sponsoring a lot of projects in this country. How do you think this issue should be confronted?
I think those are two totally different things. When an investor comes into the country, they go to GAIPA, or they go to Minister of Trade, and they go to the National Environment Agency. Let them do their job. Let them hold those people accountable. The Foreign Affairs, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Presidency, when they go look for loans and they come back, that's a different issue. What we need to talk about in those instances is that in signing those grants, what are the things that those Chinese want in the Gambia? In return, like the license. We give them a license, but how do you control them? How do you monitor them? But
those things are usually not made public to the people. Usually they say, okay, we have a grant, we have a loan, no strings attached.
That's why I keep, if you follow, I don't know whether you follow my Facebook postings and my discussions. There's this issue that I talk about, communication transparency. Communication transparency is basically communicating transparently so that people know what's going on. And the more a government is transparent, the more the government communicates, the more people are able to judge and to give them feedback. But if that's not there, then people start to be suspicious. They will say that, okay, the government is misusing the funds, the government is corrupt. No, communication transparency is very, very important. Two, I mentioned this in another interview. I know it's not an English word, but I tend to use it. Is the NOWSM concept, the NOWSM, N-O-W-I-S-M problem. What I mean is that everybody wants to become rich today. Joni. No. That concept has to change. And unfortunately, people over 45, those people, it's already late for them. We go back to the primary school, the nursery school. We started from there, civic education. What is it to be a Gambian? What is it to be a honorable person? Then we start to implement the laws. We are good at creating laws, but we're very, very weak in implementing those laws. And as long as we do not implement the laws, as long as we do not educate the Gambians to say that the reason we have a police checkpoint at 12 o'clock at night is for your safety. The reason we will ask you to pay your taxes, because that tax, the money that we generate, goes back in making the roads.
Do you feel the need for the Gambia to have an anti-corruption commission right now?
It's long overdue. It's long overdue. You see, it's not about having it. You can have it, but then you have corrupt people in it to run it. You can have it, but they will not implement the laws. You can have it, and then the concept of this NOWSM concept is there. You can have it, and then the people are indisciplined, they're corrupt. You can have it, we'll have this concept of masla. So we as Gambians, we have to change our attitudes. It's very hard, and it's going to take a long time for us to happen. But we have to start, and leadership has to lead by example. Let's start from the president. If the president goes to his cabinet meeting 10 minutes before time, sharp the time he starts his meeting, anybody who comes 5 minutes late, you're out. If he holds every minister accountable, listen, Minister X, you are in this sector. This is my vision for this sector. Can you implement it in 2, 3 years, 5 years? Yes, we sign a code. And then every quarter I will have a system in place to hold you accountable.
This is how the PPP intends to work it out.
This is how the people intend to work. And this is me speaking as a Gambian who believes that if you are an opposition party, doesn't mean that you have to hold back your ideas. Share it. Even if the government listens to me and take 1% of my recommendation, then I'm a proud Gambian. People fail to understand that we are all Gambians and we all want to develop the Gambia. Be it the government, be it opposition leader. If you really believe that you want to develop Gambia, you have to constantly engage people and talk about how do you develop the Gambia. Even if the current government takes it and implements it, that's fine. I keep telling people that political parties, it's like everybody wants to enter a room, but the room has one door and several windows. But the lucky one that gets inside is responsible to make sure that everybody within that room is taken care of. And those who have not been able to get inside would be standing outside, looking into that room, making sure that the person who's responsible for taking care of those people is doing the job. If they don't do it properly, you outside the window will tell them, hey, listen, I think this is what you should be doing. And you also should be learned, because one day you might enter into that room. If you have that concept, you will not be scared to talk about issues that is of national development. And for me, Papa Njai, it really is about what can I share with the Gambians? What can PPP share with the Gambians? PPP were lucky that we have a very long track record of the success stories that we've had for the last 30 years, and also some of the mistakes we had. And no human being is complete. No human being is perfect. And as long as you know that you are not perfect, and then you are willing to learn, then you can move forward. And I keep telling people, like, if you point your finger at somebody, know that it's only one finger that's pointing, but the other three is pointing back at you. So as you point, reflect on yourself and see what is it that I need to do to develop the Gambia. And
of course, another burning issue right now is the issue of the LGBTQ community. I would like to have your opinion on it as an aspiring presidential candidate. To be specific, the legalization of it. I know that there has been outrage following comments made by the EU ambassador to the Gambia, Attila Leos, when he said that he thinks that the Gambia government should in fact unban homosexuality in the Gambia. What is your position on this?
My position is that Gambia is an Islamic state, it's a religious state, and we should not condone that. You don't see anywhere in a civilized country whereby faith is part of it for them to endorse it. We are not going to endorse it. The PPP is not going to endorse it. But anybody who wants to do it in your private life is your own problem, as long as you don't take it out. If you take it out and you're caught, then you're penalized, because that's against our natural inclination. So we are really saying that we do not support it for it to be legalized, and the EU has the right, because it's a democratic country, for him to come and voice his opinion, to make his statement, and anybody has the right to talk about it. But the final decision is with the Gambian people, and is with the MPs and the executive, and I know that they will not pass this bill, because it's not a part of a society. So which means that the PPP is definitely distancing itself from anything that has to do with the legalization of homosexuality in the Gambia. Yes. And now another thing right now, which is a burning discussion in the Gambia, is the issue of the Janneh Commission, which has recently surfaced. I know that the previous governments, both the government of the party that you represent today has been accused of corruption before, the APRC has been accused of corruption before, and now we have a commission looking into the financial dealings of the former president, Yahya Jammeh. What is your opinion on this? I think this shows that the different arms of government are functioning now. This is what we all expected. If a government fumbles, you have the judiciary to correct them. And I'm really proud to be a Gambian now, because I know that we have a justice system that is not there for any particular person, it's there for the Gambian interest. And what they mentioned, they're legal minded. And if the law says that the Janneh Commission doesn't have the right to auction or to even sell the properties, then so be it. Then we will have to respect the Court of Appeal, because they are legally minded people. And to me, it's a process of learning. Maybe this is how it was done in the past. But now things have changed. I'll just go back to the Minister of Finance in his way they mobilized funds for the COVID-19, and the Parliament had said that they did it wrongly, but because they were doing it that way in the past, so doing it that way in the past doesn't mean it's right. But now moving forward, I think as we move forward now, we will know that certain things that we were doing in the past we should not do. So this is another example of they thinking that what they're doing is the right thing, but apparently it's not right. So we should move forward, and we should accept the recommendation of the Court of Appeal and then move forward. So to me, I will support the recommendation of the Court of Appeal.
And finally, before I let you go, I just want to ask you, what are the chances of the PPP returning to the State House come 2021 elections? I'm assuming that the departure of Bibi Dabo has somehow caused some factions within the party. What is the chance?
Bibi has not caused any faction in the party. PPP, we've always had this type of fracas within ourselves, and it just makes the party stronger. And the people we're targeting is the 35 and below. Those are young people that will want to have a change in their lives. And the 50s and above, I think we are just there to lend a hand to the younger generation. So my target is really on how do I empower those young people? How do I talk to them for them to understand what I'm talking about, and for them to join my party. And 2021 will be, no single party is going to win. We'll have to form coalitions with alliances with parties that we have similar interests. And for me, really, it's not about just winning. It's about having the structures of the PPP up and running. Say young people, aspiring young people who are willing to come and join the party and to take the mantle of leadership from the party, so that the party has a new face. And that was one of the reasons that I was elected to become the party leader and Secretary General of the PPP, because I have a good relationship with the young people. I've worked with them for over 30 years, and they understand me, and they know I'm a man of integrity. And that's one of the other things that we have to look at when we choose our leaders. It's not the one that has the most money, the one that speaks the best English, the one that speaks the most persuasive English language, or Wolof, or Mandinka, or Sarahule. You look at the track record of that person. What has that person done before he or she entered into politics? What has that person done within his community? What is his integrity? Because without integrity, we cannot move forward. What is that person's relationship with other people? What has that person done in the past whereby he was challenged and he came out of that challenge and proved himself right? It's not about this is the biggest party, or he is my brother, or we're from the same tribe. No.
So if no single party is going to be able to win next year's elections, where does that leave the PPP?
We'll have to just, we'll be part of a coalition, definitely.
If we ideally, what political parties are those?
No, it's too early to say it. We have all the political parties. If they have the same vision as we do, we'll work with them. And that is it. For us, it's Gambia before our political party, Gambia before our own interests. So PPP is really saying that we will work with any political party that has the same agenda. And PPP is the only party that can easily work with all the other political parties.
Why is that?
Because we are the founding party of the nation, and we do not have any bad working relations with any political party. I keep telling people that we, the PPP, we do not burn the bridge between any political party. We have our agenda. If something comes up and we feel like we need to talk about it, we'll talk about it. We always recommend. So PPP is the only party that has an open relationship with all the political parties, and we're going to maintain that.
Thank you very much, Mr. Njai. Your final words to the Gambian people before I let you go.
Finally, just to thank all the Gambians for supporting the PPP. And politics is not about tribe. Politics is not about friendship. Politics is about looking at the person or the people that has your interest. So Gambians, go back and sit and reflect on PPP and reflect on their track record. Go back and look at my track record. Go back and look at my integrity. Then you will come and join the PPP. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for granting us that interview, Mr. Njai. Well, that's it for News Review. Do join us tomorrow if you can. Thank you very much for watching, and bye for now. As Gambians,
the melodies keep coming in my brain, and then it started like da-dee, da-da-dee, da-dee, da-da-dee. Greetings to each and every one of you right now. My name is Barhama Cham, a singer-songwriter and an activist from the Gambia. Everybody say. Take if you mean making it here. You can make it here without going outside. So we have to believe in it, get up, work hard to make the dream. That's what it is about. Take a fee. Even before recording the song, I've always had the idea that I have to create something that the youths out there can listen to and get inspired from that. And then there was this afternoon that the people that I did do the song with, Bright Stars, they decided to come to my home.
My name is Hassan Job alias Bugatabi from the Bright Stars Entertainment. It's a group that sends messages through entertainment, edutainment. What you are going to look for somewhere else, we have it here. We are in the 21st century, and music plays a key role in sharing information, and it flows fast and it's easier to decode. The money that you're using to travel abroad or to travel through the back way, invest on it here. We have institutions that are willing to support. Once you are progressive, then they will come on board.
So I can just take myself as a perfect example, you know. I always believe that I can make it in the Gambia, and right now, so many of my colleagues out there are making money from the industry, though it's not like that compared to other countries, but it's really coming. You always feel proud when you realize that I'm in my country, I've been contributing to nation development, and now finally I've made it. Everything starts with the belief. If you don't believe that you can be a millionaire, no matter wherever you might be in the world, you can never be that millionaire. So you have to believe in it that you can make it first, and then you can make it here.
We've seen the examples, so why not you? Why not me?
Lady man.